What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to All Things Football. After an exciting weekend of Premier League football and Manchester City's victory in the Carabao Cup final, I think there's a lot to talk about tonight. Now, we already have one confirmed relegation from the Premier League as Sheffield United. Are West Brom and Fulham destined to join them in the Championship next season, or do you think there's going to be an amazing escape?
I think that last-minute goal by Aston Villa today in the West Midlands derby it's game over now. They could have grabbed the 3 points, but I can't remember who scored. Let me just quickly check who scored that last-minute goal.
I think it was El Ghazi.
It was Keenan Davies.
Oh, mad.
90+2. And I think that goal is going to seal relegation for West Brom now. 9 points they are from safety, and
yep. 5 games left.
5 games, 9 points. I think it's over for Sam Allardyce. I mean, the great escape couldn't happen. It was close, but yeah, that last-minute goal that they conceded, I think it's that game over.
I'm probably wrong, and I think eventually someone will correct me, but I believe this might be the first time that Sam Allardyce will be getting relegated from the Premier League.
That's crazy.
I think this is the first time because obviously he's bought into teams and he's bought into clubs that are struggling. He provides them with the foundation and the defensive foundation first and foremost to help them survive in the Premier League. But it's just, I think, been a bit too little, too late for West Brom. He hasn't been there for a short amount of time, but I do believe that the gap in quality between the bottom three, especially, and the rest of the league is monstrous. Because you're looking at the team in 17th, Brighton. I wouldn't have thought Brighton, just looking at the way they play, looking at the players they have, I didn't think they'd be all the way down there. But I mean, I think that just goes to show that the Premier League is a league which is increasing the quality every single year. And when you come up, which two of the bottom three have, it's even more of a struggle to even survive.
Yeah, again, as you mentioned, two of the bottom three, Fulham is one of them, and it seems that they come up and they're going straight back down.
Yeah,
they couldn't. As for Fulham, let me see. They played midweek, pretty sure. Actually, no, Fulham didn't play this weekend, to be honest. But it looks like it's just over for them as well.
Yeah, I think the gap is too big.
They're obviously in 18th, and I think they're 7 points away from Brighton. I think, for them, it's just uphill, such an uphill battle for them, and I don't think they have the quality to do it.
Yeah, I'm just so sorry.
Yeah, they drew last week against Arsenal. I mean, they should have picked up the 3 points again. Those are the kind of things that teams battling relegation just can't. You can't just drop those important 2 points.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the Premier League table now, and I think for the first time in a good few years, the relegation battle will not go down to the final day of the season. You just said there that Fulham are 7 points away from safety. With 5 games left, I can't see Brighton, Newcastle, Southampton are the 3 teams above the relegation zone.
Yeah.
All of those teams, you wouldn't put them down there. They're not teams that are bad. They have good players. They have good managers. Newcastle might be an exception, but I feel like they've played football this season, which is, if you didn't know what the Premier League table was, you would think they're a mid-table side. The Premier League is every team, apart from the bottom 3, very good teams. And
You've never seen your head.
You got me. I didn't have time. Those complications. Every single team in the Premier League, apart from the bottom 3, as I was saying, are clubs that you wouldn't think would even fear relegation. Only team I can see there is Burnley, but they're doing quite well this season. They've obviously won 4-0 today against Wolves. Chris Wood getting a hat-trick, which is something you don't say often, but the rest of the league is just so far ahead of the rest.
Yeah,
I think the league's gone from being a top 6 and the bottom 14 to a top 15 and the rest. I think that's what's happened this season.
Like the battle for the European places, I think this season's been like one of the most intense there's ever been, because you just can't even call 4th place at the moment. I know in the title of this video, it's question Chelsea secure top 4 place. But yes, it's in question marks because we still don't know whether they secured it. We still don't know whether Leicester have secured 3rd place as well. And yeah,
Well,
around 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Yeah, even 7. Obviously, Spurs 53 points, Chelsea at 58. Like you never know with these last few games. You just can't call it at the moment.
it's weird. I'm looking at the fixture just now. You're talking about Leicester 3rd, 4th, 5th, the teams battling for the last 2 Champions League spots. Weirdly enough, I'm just gonna say this now, and I'll definitely be corrected or I'll fact check later on. Leicester play the next 2 games in the Premier League. They play against Crystal Palace tomorrow, and I believe they'll play against Southampton on Friday. And there's no games in between. They will be, if they win both of them games, they will be 2 points behind us, I believe. So we have to be careful because Leicester, they're close. If they win those games, they're close. And I do believe that Chelsea and West Ham will continue to win their games. And if Leicester are close, that means they're going to be close as well. So we have to look over our shoulder. After the disappointing draw against Leeds, it has really changed the complexion of the top 4 race.
Yeah, definitely. Well, going back to Burnley's 4-0 win at Wolves, you mentioned Chris Wood and his hat trick. Would you say that Chris Wood is an underrated striker in the Prem?
No, I don't think he's an underrated striker. I just believe that he fits Burnley's style of play to a T. So when Burnley have a good day, Chris Wood is usually at one of the main reasons why they play well. So when he does perform well and when he does get a brace or a hat trick, it's like, I think the automatic reaction is your reaction. Is he too good for Burnley because of what he's just done? But no, I don't think he could make it work at even a slightly above mid-table side. I think Burnley is the perfect team for him. Because if you watch him play, he's a hold-up man. Him and Ashley Wood, they're bullies. When he gets on the ball and actually tries to dribble with it, it's not.
Yeah, you can't. He's like a typical number 9 Premier League striker.
Yeah.
That's powerful in the air. Literally just your typical striker. It's going to be in the box. As the same with Ashley Barnes. Obviously, Ashley Barnes is injured at the moment, I think. But yeah, Chris Wood is still doing it. He's only 29 years old, so I guess this is his prime.
Yeah.
And this is his first Premier League hat trick as well. But as you said, I don't think, as you said before, I don't think he would go into European squads. I think, Burnley would be his level.
I'm actually looking for him now on the Premier League scoring charts, and I can't find him. I don't know. I think they're an interesting side, Burnley, because they annoy the big teams. They know how to play against the big and better teams. But their 4-0 win against Wolves today, I think, was totally unexpected. I wouldn't think anybody would have even placed a bet on that in their wildest dreams. But I don't know. I just don't like them. Yeah. Let's celebrate no do-rag today. I've got Trim as well. What do you look like in the fade? It's looking. Don't guess me. But yeah, Burnley are a team which they're always going to be in and around the relegation zone. But I don't ever think that they're going to be in a genuine scrap or a genuine fight, because however negative they seem to play, Sean Dyche is a very good manager. I think given funds and better players, you would be able to see a different type of football from his sides.
Yeah, and what was I going to say? I was going to say about Burnley. I think they've been in the Prem for quite a few seasons. As you said, they haven't been relegated.
They came up in the Danny 5 years, I think, when they might have been in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think they're now like they've secured like Premier League spot. Just like clubs such as Palace, they've just like secured that spot. But in terms of Wolves, I think obviously Raul Jimenez he was literally the missing piece in the puzzle, and now since his injury, Wolves have just declined. Obviously, they're still going to stay up. They're in 12th place at the moment, but since his injury, they've just declined massively, and they haven't replaced him.
Yeah, they bought in William Jose from, I want to say, Real Sociedad, I think, or it was a team in the Portuguese league, but he hasn't been able to fill the shoes of Raul Jimenez.
Mhm.
I think at Wolves, Jimenez was the perfect striker, but I do believe at the same time he could have easily slotted into a top four side like Manchester United. He's a very very technical striker who's deadly in the box, and he has elite movement, not on the level of someone like Cavani, but he's there or thereabouts. Wolves are a team which reminds me of Burnley in the most respectful way possible. When they come up against the bigger teams, it's basically we just don't want you to score. It doesn't matter if we score or not, but we don't want you to score. And that's the mentality which I think has led them to a place where if a couple of results haven't gone their way, if a couple more results hadn't gone their way this season, you'd see them down near the bottom of the table. I know Raul Jimenez has been a massive miss, but every team gets injuries. And you've bought in another striker. You bought a striker in the summer in Fabio Silva. You have a Adama Traore, a Pedro Neto who's
Mm.
unfortunately injured. You have other players, and you have a good manager, he's called, and you have a good team. They don't have a bad team. Wolves have a very very good team. So I just feel like I don't know their mentality and their tactics are the reason they're so low this season.
I think just everything changed. Obviously, they sold Doherty to Spurs.
Yeah,
Obviously, Jimenez being injured, and players such as Adama Traore hasn't been playing at the levels he played at last
yeah.
season when he was using his pace to good effect. He was getting assists. He was even getting goals. And this season, Wolves they haven't been the same as last season. I remember the seasons where even as you said, Jota as well gone to Liverpool.
He's a
I
massive
think
miss.
all of those players who have just been missing, Jota, Jimenez, Doherty, and obviously players that aren't performing at the moment, has been a big miss. And as for Wolves, I think their manager's been linked to Spurs. Nuno Espirito Santos has been
I
linked
don't
to
know, man.
Spurs with the Spurs role. I think I can see that happening because he has been in and around the European places with Wolves. Remember that season when we just couldn't beat Wolves. I remember
Yeah,
whenever we played Wolves, they'd always beat us, or we just couldn't beat them. So he knows what he's doing. And if he goes Spurs, we might see Ronaldo there. We might see some other Portuguese players there.
yeah,
He'll
yeah.
bring them with him. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with Wolves.
I didn't know that he was linked to the Spurs role, but I think he's just a little bit like Mourinho. The way he thinks, the way he sets out his team is you're looking at five at the back, three at the back with when I personally think three at the back is just five at the back with a little bit more attack on the wings. But Wolves will go 1-0 up and park the bus. They're a team that park the bus, especially against the bigger teams. If he goes to Tottenham, it's just going to be exactly the same stuff. I don't think Nuno Espirito Santo, I think his name is. I don't think he has the quality to manage elite international level players. You're looking at players like Son, Kane, Lloris, or those two in particular. Even players like Højbjerg and Dombele. I couldn't see Santos or Santo managing them to good effect. And I've always had a soft spot for Tottenham, mainly because I don't see them as a threat. But I wouldn't be happy seeing him there. I would want them to bring in an exuberant manager, someone like Julian Nagelsmann from Red Bull Leipzig, because I think he'd be able to bring the
No,
best out of players like Harry Kane and him.
I don't see a point in Spurs getting manager like that because, firstly, Harry Kane and Son, I don't see them staying for much longer. I think someone like Espirito Santos is. I think he could be a good manager at Spurs, especially our Spurs. I'll say they're still in the rebuilding phase, and he's a manager that has proved it in the Prem. I'd say with a Wolves team, he's brought them up to almost get European. Yeah, they got European places. They won Europa League.
Yeah,
So
but think about it like this: when they came up, they overperformed in the first year or two, and now they're underperforming. They've never played at their level. It's always they've done too well. They shouldn't be fifth. They shouldn't be sixth. And now they're 11th. They've got 41 points. They're not qualifying for Europe. A couple more results go against them. They're genuinely at near the bottom of the table, thinking, "Oh, we could be finishing 16th here." There's no balance in that team, and that's why I don't really rate Nuno Espirito Santo. After the first couple of years when he was the new manager, he had a lot of Portuguese players. They were the big spenders in the championship. After that, after the novelty wore off of a new guy on the block, I think we've seen and we've come to realize his teams are just there's no consistency. There's
But do you
no
think it's
balance.
down to his management or the personnel he has?
I think it's down to his management because he's one of the people. Yeah, we're Manchester United fans. We understand what it's like to not have a director of football, but other clubs do. Director of footballs, um, they work a lot on transfers, but it goes through the manager. Nuno Espirito Santo won't go into training one day and just be there's a new Portuguese player. He would know. He would have an input. He wants that player, and he brings them in, and they still underperform. Whether that's due to them being bad or his bad tactics, it's still a reflection on him. This isn't just a one season thing. They've been slowly on the decline for a couple of years at least now. You know, it's as I said, that's why I don't rate him that much. Not as much as I did when they first came up.
Yeah, and with Wolves, obviously they produce so many good players. What's his name? Neto could be on the way this summer as well. Adama Traore, I'm not sure if clubs are out for him. I think the problem with Adama Traore is whether he has the end product. Of course, he has the pace. Everyone can see that for days. He has the pace, but it's the end product, and I think that's what lets him down. And he could literally be their key man if he knew what to do in the right times. Just like someone like Saint Maximin at Newcastle, or literally like an Mbappe. But yeah, he's just not using it to. He's not just not using it. I don't know. He's at Barcelona academy. I don't understand how you can be at Barca's academy and now just not be at those levels.
Well, I guess there's a reason why he didn't make it at Barcelona. He made a few first team appearances here and there, but a lot of the academy players do. I'm glad you mentioned Alan and Maximin as well because I think they are identical players in terms of they do all of the hard work. I would put money on Adama Traore in 10 dribbles against 4 players. He'll be able to beat them all. Pace, power, and his very close control. But I'm going to relate him to Dan James as well because he can do that. He doesn't know how to slow it down and just slow his brain down. When he gets nearer the box, everything is still at 100 miles an hour. And that's why he looks so chaotic. Those little steps, yeah, they're good with dribbling, but when he wants to take a shot, there's no composure. And yeah, Raul Jimenez isn't here at the moment. He's obviously injured with the head injury. So the crosses that Traore would usually be able to put in onto Jimenez's head, Fabio Silva can't meet them. William Jose isn't of the same quality, so he's not going to have the stats as he did last season. But he just needs to learn how to just control himself and just I've beaten 3 men. Maybe they get too carried away. Maybe they get gassed. Oh yeah, I've beaten 3 or 4. Let me beat another 2. I don't know what goes on in their head, but it's just so fast. Their pace is almost a bad thing after a while, you know? Maybe they can't control it.
Yeah. No, I like this comparison. Dan James versus Adama Traore. What comparison? And I think what you're saying is completely true because I can see in my head, like once they get past and once they get to the touchline, it's about who they pick out. Last season, Adama Traore was amazing about picking out people in the box. Obviously, because Jimenez was a threat in the box. Maybe just always at the right place at the right time. But as for Dan James, maybe we could say he hasn't got that person in the box to pick out. But at the same time, he just doesn't get his head up and pick anyone out. Yeah. And I think that's the same with this season. Obviously, with Wolves, they don't really have that target man necessarily in the box. However, he just doesn't pick anyone out anyway. He just gets there and yeah. Good evening.
Good evening.
And yeah, I think we should move on from Wolves. You mentioned Spurs, and I think we might as well go straight to the cup final.
Yeah.
No surprises. City win a 4th consecutive Carabao Cup.
Their love affair with the competition goes on.
Yeah. It was first half, City dominated. Second half, Tottenham came out but did nothing again with the ball. They did nothing, and City literally just got one free kick from a mistake from Aurier, and no surprises there. Give away a free kick and they score.
I didn't watch the match. I profess I didn't watch the match. I did see a stat or not a heat map, but the average position of each player. And I looked at the Spurs side, and Harry Kane's average position was deeper than the centre defensive mids. I mean, I'm not going to talk about the Super League, but it will kind of bleed into that. Mourinho getting sacked a week before a cup final, and you haven't won a trophy, an actual trophy, not the Audi Cup, whatever they won preseason. They haven't won an actual trophy since I can't even remember when. I want to say 2008, but we beat them in a Carling Cup final. But you don't sack Jose Mourinho. Wherever you think of him, he's a serial cup winner. He's a serial trophy winner. His Wikipedia page is one of the best out there. His track record in cup finals is amazing. You don't sack him and bring in Ryan Mason. No offense to him. He has no managerial experience at the top level. Only there because he is a former Spurs player. You don't do that. There was no surprises in the result. Maybe the fact that it was only 1-0 might be a surprise. But I think it was just poor from Tottenham all the way through the past week. I didn't expect anything less. But at the same time, I couldn't care because City might win 3, but it's not the treble, is it?
Yeah, you say it's not a treble, but it is still 3 trophies.
It's not the treble. It's a treble.
Okay. It's 3 trophies, and it was just City weren't at their best, I would say. However, if you're giving a free kick in a dangerous position, you're just asking for them to score. And Laporte maybe should have got sent off that game. He was on a yellow, but he was obviously the match winner for City. And for City, they won't care. Pep won't care. Pep, literally, this is his trophy for 4 years in a row. We were the last team to win it apart from them, and they've just taken, that's just their cup. And now they're on to the next one, PSG midweek. Another tougher game, but winning the match today actually gives them belief that they can win on Wednesday. I would have said, like, if they lost, or even if they didn't play this game, I would have said PSG are going to win. But now they've won the trophy today. They obviously, there's no reason why they should lose on Wednesday.
Honestly, I still believe that PSG are going to knock Man City out.
Yeah, I obviously believe that, but now Man City have
momentum. They got momentum.
They have the momentum, yeah.
That's a big factor in football. It doesn't matter who you are. Little teams can destroy a big team because of momentum and confidence, but European football is a whole different thing. You're talking about the likes of Neymar and Mbappe. It's different from. It's different from Harry Kane. It's a different type of threat than Harry Kane.
As you're saying, the heat map, Harry Kane was on CDM basically.
Yeah,
and that's the problem with Spurs. We always say, "Oh, Harry Kane, he's got more assists this season," but the reason why he has more assists is because he's having to drop deep into midfield to play the pass from centre mid to Son, for example, or to Lucas Moura, because the midfield is not doing their job, or whoever's in midfield is not doing their job adequately. So Kane's having to drop deep. But imagine Kane in a City squad where you have De Bruyne, you have Gundogan, you have Rodri, you have what's his name, Bernardo Silva. He doesn't have to drop deep. He just stays in the number 9 position, and he would be scoring how many goals a season in a City
looking
squad?
At 40 to 50 easily a season.
And yeah, that's the difference. I think now Kane has seen, he was obviously sad at the end of the game. Son was crying at the end of the game, and you can just see that these guys are going to leave the club. There's no point staying at Spurs.
I think it's a shame for Spurs because they've always been so close. They just can't get across the line. And when you have players of the quality of Kane and Son, when you can't get across the line, it's even more painful because Tottenham are an interesting team because they have a history which isn't filled with trophies, but they've always been at the top. You're looking at the end of the 90s they're there in there or thereabouts at the top of the league. It's the same with Chelsea. We all joke about them not having a history before 2002, but they were winning trophies. They had players like Zola, Gus Poyet, Ruud Gullit. They had all of the top teams and top players. So like, but the difference between Spurs and Chelsea is that Chelsea eventually got across the line, and then they won
Mm.
over and over again. Spurs have the quality to get over the line. They just can't get over the line, and they can't win that trophy. They can't win the Premier League. They can't progress further enough in the Champions League. So when you have players like Kane, Son, Lloris, you had Vertonghen and Alderweireld, who were the best partnership in the league for a couple of years. You have Reguilon, who's a decent up and coming left back. You have Ndombele, who's also up and coming. You have all of these top class players. All they need, even if it was just the Community Shield, or I say the Community Shield like that, you have to win
That's
something to get
something
in the
like
Community Shield. Just
that.
a piece of silverware would keep the players for at least another year,
Yeah.
and give them the confidence to progress, and give them the confidence to get over the line in a cup final like this. But I say that, but you have Lloris, who's won the World Cup. He's captained the side to the World Cup. You have Heung-min Son, who's won I don't know what the
Asian
competition
Cup.
is. It the Asia Trophy? He's won an international trophy with his team, a captain in his side. Spurs have captains.
They have
Alderweireld
leaders. They have
they
many
have
leaders on the
captains and
pitch.
leaders.
Experienced players.
Yeah, and Big Ron says there, Spurs are Spurs. They do Spursy stuff. Players need to
Yeah.
move on if they're ambitious. Poch made Spurs relevant for a season or two. Them days gone. He's spot on there. As I said, they have all of these players that have actually won trophies. Sergio Aurier at PSG, he's serial winner at PSG. He's got trophies. Doesn't matter what role you play
Lucas
in that
Moura
team.
as well,
Yeah,
PSG.
yeah. They don't have any excuse. It's just the fact that they have the mentality of that club is one of, we can't do it. They can't do it.
I think, yeah,
It's
that
bad.
is what Jose Mourinho was trying to change within the dressing room. It was
Yeah,
clearly evident in the Spurs documentary as well, and it's clear maybe he was trying to toughen up the players, change the way the dressing room is, and maybe the owners or the staff and everyone didn't really like receive that message that Jay-Z was trying to put across well. And maybe obviously that's probably why staff maybe complained, players might have complained, and
yeah. Apparently, he lost the dressing room.
lost the dressing room, and that's obviously why he was sacked. And I think that's what he was. I think that would have been a good thing because he's trying to get that winning mentality into the Spurs players.
Yeah,
But obviously it didn't pay off. They probably obviously turned on him, didn't win games, and
I mean,
that's obviously what they need.
Big Ron says a message before about Harry Kane.
Yeah.
I think he's had too many ankle injuries. He's similar to Neymar. He has a big injury every season, which keeps him out for a good few weeks. He does. To be fair, I don't think he ever had the pace to play on the last man. I think his movement was just so good, and
You don't need pace.
Yeah, he was never slow.
Lewandowski doesn't have pace.
Yeah, these top strikers, when you really think about it, even the ones that have just gone, Diego Costa, Ruud van Nistelrooy never had blistering pace. Edinson Cavani, Ibrahimovic.
It's all about movement.
Yeah, it's just the movement and the ability to take your chances when you get them. Because big strikers might have 2 chances a game, but they might score 1 goal. A dead striker might have 5 chances a game because they have the pace, but they don't have the composure. They don't have the ability to find the bottom corners. Kane is so far ahead of his peers. He's second best in class behind Lewandowski, in my opinion. But yeah, that ankle injury every year, it's hindered him. It has changed him. But I do think dropping deep is to do with Mourinho, though.
And he's not even in his prime. He's only 27 years old.
Yeah.
And we're saying that he's the second best striker in the world, or maybe even the best. Lewandowski is in his 30s. So Kane still has time. Obviously, the injuries are something he has to deal with. Neymar obviously has a similar injuries, but always bounces back.
Yeah.
And performs at the same level. So it's something he just has to deal with. Poch had Danny Rose in the England team. United wanted him, Eric Dyer and Toby too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we were linked to those players, half of me was like, as Man United, we're linked to everyone, but the other half was like, well, we can't get these players. Danny Rose was always a solid left back, one of the best in the league, but I didn't think he was a player that would fit the Manchester United way. I would have taken Alderweireld because he was always I always liked him. I think he was the best in the league before Van Dijk, rose up. But as this sounds strange, but Kane is not as mobile as he once was. Remember Rooney? Yeah. Oh, Rooney
Mm.
was. I think. Yeah, it's getting me emotional.
And
Oh,
I think there's players. I don't know. It's different nowadays. Play,
mm.
as you know, we can't even say that because Rashford is playing through injury. So we can't even just say players don't really play through injury at the moment. But
I think less players play through injury now. Maybe because of the
mm,
physios and the stats and the reports that you will get back after every 5 minute run you do. I think with Kane, I just want to go back quickly. No, actually, I'm not going to because I completely forgot what I was about to say. But Kane, he was never blisteringly fast. It's now I remember. When you're a striker that doesn't rely on pace from when you're 18 or 19, I'm
you
gonna
adapt your
I could
game.
yeah, I can relate it to Michael Owen. Kane, Lewandowski, Cavani, Ibrahimovic, even Luis Suarez, they never relied on pace. So that's why they can be 35, still slowing down and still be at the top of the game. Lewandowski is what, 30 in his not early 30s,
He's
but
there. Is
almost mid 30s,
mm,
and he's playing the best football he's ever played because he never
32.
had to rely on pace. Yeah, he's got another 2 or 3 years scoring 40 goals a season in him. And I very strongly believe that Kane, if he manages to avoid getting those major injuries every year, could be 35 and clearing away the top scorer in the Premier League.
Yeah.
No, my back is hurting. I'm getting old as well.
But I don't know. It feels like players like Lewandowski, they're still within their prime, even though they're getting older. He's still getting all these goals. Kane as well. I'm
Mm.
sure when Kane is in it, turns 30, he'll still be, if he's still in the Prem, he'll still be obviously a top goal scorer in the Prem.
Yeah, he's going to be around for another 7 or 8 years. Easy.
And yeah, it's just he just needs to come to Man U, to be honest. And yeah, if he comes Man U, Son goes to maybe, I don't know, Madrid somewhere.
Just not in the Premier League. Because if
Yeah,
he goes somewhere
just
in the Prem, he's going to City or Liverpool or
yeah.
Chelsea, and that's it.
And yeah, we'll go on to Friday's game, evening game, Arsenal v Everton. And yeah, just Leno mistake, and yeah, cost them.
Can I just get your opinion on something? Because it's something that confuses me. Obviously, I have a lot of Liverpool fans on my social media because of where I am. Why does everyone hate Richarlison?
Yeah, I don't understand that as well. I saw some video of Richarlison dancing after
Yeah,
he didn't score, but after he crossed it and obviously went through his legs, and he was just dancing. People saying that he's
yeah,
just
like,
dumb or whatever.
he could
I
do
don't get it.
anything. He can do anything, and people just
I don't understand it because Richarlison has lots of potential.
mm.
He's very young, so there's no we can't really get on like criticize him that much because he's so young.
Yeah,
How old he
he's
is
a good
actually?
footballer. I think he has the
20,
potential to
23.
be. Yeah, he's a good age. He's got about 4 or 5 years before he hits his prime, and I think his prime will be at a team that is challenging for European titles, not just the small trophies. But he gets he could post a tweet and he gets abused. Maybe it's jealousy. I'm not sure, but nobody likes him. I don't get it. But yeah, how did Arsenal let that keeper go to Villa and keep Leno? The Villa keeper is great.
Yeah, he
I
is great.
I think
Martinez.
I think it was more of a Emi Martinez decision rather than an Arsenal one. Obviously, he was at the club for I think almost a decade or just over a decade, and he was always the backup or the third choice. But when Leno was injured last season, he had to step in and he did a good job. He won a trophy, and everyone saw when he was on FaceTime to his family with his medal or the trophy, like crying. It meant so much to him, and I think for him, knowing that he would be the second choice again when Leno came back, he had to leave and he went to a good
Mm,
team in Aston Villa, and he's shown his quality. And in
definitely.
an Aston Villa side, maybe he could progress from Aston Villa and go to a
I don't
team
think
like
so.
if Lloris was to leave Tottenham, I think he could go to Tottenham.
He'll just be a backup keeper if he goes anywhere
No,
else
no,
in the top six.
he's shown the quality he has, which is enough to be a first choice keeper in not the top four, but a team that is challenging for Europa League. I think he's better than Aston Villa, and he's shown that this season. But Leno, He's a good keeper, one of the better keepers in the league. I just think he made it. I don't think he made a mistake. He made a poor mistake. It was a shot going off target. Only defense I can have for him. I always try and defend the players. Only defense I can have for him is maybe he thought. I want to say Mari, like Pablo Mari. I don't know which centre back it was, or the right or the left back. He must have thought someone was going to get a touch because the ball travelled a long distance, a good
Maybe.
distance before he could have before it went through his legs. It was
I just remember Arsenal fans saying he's one of the best in the league.
who Leno or Mountainous.
Leno.
Yeah, he is. He is one of the better keepers in the league. Like you can't deny that. Every keeper makes mistakes. De Gea is one of the better keepers in the league, but we've seen him parry the ball into his own net against Everton. Like every keeper makes mistakes. Edison makes mistakes. Allison makes mistakes. But when because it's Leno and because it's an Arsenal player, it's just a little bit more. It's more funny, isn't it? And people will
Let me
react
just
way
go
better.
back to let me go back to this comment. One of the reasons Ronaldo is still around is because Rooney did a lot of running for him at United. You could say that, but at the same time, Ronaldo's work ethic is much greater than everyone else. Firstly,
Yeah.
Ronaldo just doesn't get injured because he looks after himself. So Ronaldo and Messi as well, they both look after themselves. That's why they rarely get injured and play loads of matches. So I don't know if we can just put it down to obviously Rooney doing lots of running for him, but it's also about the way they maintain their physique and their health. And I think that's lots of players neglect. Like lots of players, I feel like obviously they get into good clubs like Premier League clubs, they get the contracts. I'm not saying that they don't play, but I think once they're secured, maybe they don't.
They relax.
They relax, and it's just I think it's evident in teams that get promoted. Fulham, Sheffield, West Brom, they get promoted. They get a new contract. Everyone obviously, once you get to the Prem, you get a Premier League contract. You're on a greater salary than you were in the Championship. And maybe for some players, they don't work as hard as they did to get where they got to. And I think that's what football's about. It's about who can get to the level and maintain at that level.
It's a trick on with Rooney, I think, because I remember I either heard it on a podcast or on a TV show, but Sir Alex Ferguson was speaking about Wayne Rooney. He was a freak of nature. He had big feet, big wide feet. He had stocky build. He was unnaturally strong, which was how Sir Alex Ferguson described him. So, but at the same time, you could always tell that his diet, his weight, and his lifestyle would catch up to him.
And he was actually fast, you know.
No, but yeah, because
he was fast.
He was just an aggressive, very enthusiastic, very, very strong young player. He bullied teams when he's 16, 17 years old. When you go through all of that, and when you don't have the same work ethic and mentality and diet as someone like Cristiano Ronaldo or someone like even Ibrahimovic, he's 39 or 40 years old. When you don't have that, that's when everything will catch up to you. And it caught up to Rooney. Rooney is only 35, I think. He's not old. He could still be playing now if he looked after himself better. But you know,
it's crazy. He's actually 35.
Yeah, he could still be playing. He could be what? Yeah, if maybe he had a different style of play, if he was more of a technical player from early on, he could still be playing up front. He could still be banging in goals. Not at the level of someone like Lewandowski, but he could still be doing it. It's just his lifestyle and diet, which inevitably caught up to him.
Yeah. And then on to Saturday, Liverpool, Mo Salah. It was a great touch.
Yeah.
Great touch, turn, finish, bang. That's what we know. That's what we know about Mo Salah. We haven't seen it much this season, but that was what Mo Salah's about. And this game is just sums up Liverpool's season as well. Loads of chances. Sadio Mane, Salah, literally almost everyone on their team had so many chances, and then Newcastle get a last minute equalize. Actually, it should have been the winner. It should have been the winner.
Yeah,
but because of this handball rule, if my arm is attached to my body and I'm about to score, it doesn't count.
There's
So
no
I should chop off
way,
my arm.
absolutely no way that should get ruled out. There's his arm. It wasn't even 3 centimeters off his body. It was stuck to his body.
Mm,
And in all fairness, Luke Shaw today, his arm was away from his body,
mm.
just back a little bit, hit his arm in the box. It should have been. If Callum Wilson gets ruled out for that, we can see the
It's
penalty.
because for attacking players, it's different. If you're attacking and it's a handball and you're going to score, then for you it doesn't count as a goal. Whereas for defenders, it's
But
just different.
but you
It's very
see,
different.
but you see, common sense comes in there. I know those are the rules, but if the ball's coming towards me and it hits my arm here and bounces that way, cool. If it comes from the side, even if the arm isn't there, it's still hitting my body and going in the same direction as if it hits my arm, which is attached to my body. The rules are dumb. They
I
need
mean,
updating.
they have updated it, so for next season that goal would have counted, but obviously for this season it's not going to count.
Mm.
But lucky enough, Liverpool didn't learn their lesson, and a few minutes later, Joe Willock came off the bench and scores an equaliser.
Yeah.
And very, very crucial point for Newcastle, because now I think they could be safe, but I think they're safe.
Newcastle, everyone's safe apart from the
They're
boss.
safe. And we mentioned earlier about Alan Saint-Maximin. I initially thought that he's an impact player that literally just comes off the bench. But I think now Steve Bruce has starting him in games, and he's having a big difference in games. He's literally getting the ball and forcing the whole Newcastle team to push up the pitch, because obviously they're going to be camped in their box when a team like Liverpool is pressuring them. However, once he gets the ball, he just runs with the ball and gets Liverpool players have to commit a foul to stop him. And I think having a player like that in your team is great, just to get the team up the pitch. And he's actually getting his end product is improving as well. So I think Saint-Maximin he's a player that actually take at United. You know, his skills.
He wouldn't start.
But what he can do is his skills and the way he just can create chances out of nothing.
Swap him for Dan James.
I'll take him. Have him as an impact player.
I mean, I think Saint-Maximin is a Ferrari in a team full of Volkswagen Beetles. I remember very well one chance in the match on Saturday. Saint-Maximin was running with the ball. He beat a man, and then Joe Linton and Miguel Almiron were running through. By the way, Joe Linton is one of the worst strikers I've ever seen. He played the ball, and Almiron and Joe Linton, they just ran into each other. It's like they were like, oh, mine, and no one actually left it. And that's who Saint-Maximin is playing with. But I said Joe Linton is one of the worst strikers I've ever seen. But we have to talk about Sadio Mane. We usually do fraud watch as a joke for Martial. Mane has to be on fraud watch.
He is.
No, 1 goal in 23 games in the Premier League.
I don't know what's going on. He had a chance, literally could have finished it first time, decided to take a touch, and the chance was gone. I think it's confidence, to be honest. He had a great season last year, and for whatever reason, his confidence is down. And I think it's just Mane and Salah can't play together. That's the problem. What happens is Salah will be so selfish. He'll take so many shots himself. Mane is in a perfectly good position for Salah just to pass it across the box and it's a tap in. But imagine you're on a team where your other winger is continuously taking so many shots on goal and it's not going in, and you're just standing in space waiting for the ball. You're gonna be down, because what more can you do? What more can you do? You're gone.
I agree with what you're saying. Like, Salah is a world-class player. Don't get me wrong. No one's saying he's not good, but he's one of the most selfish players I've seen in a long time. Every 20 shots he has, he scores 2 goals, but he has so many shots. That's why he scores so much. That's why he has all of the accolades, the personal accolades, golden boot, top scorer, blah, blah, blah. But with Mane, as I've always said, I've said it on this channel before and I've said it on other channels, but if you want to tell your son or a little kid to watch a player, I'll see you later, big bro. I'll see you in the next episode. If you tell a player to go and study a player, if you tell a kid to go and study a player, you don't choose Mane because technically, I don't think he's that good. He's a player that's capable of the sublime back heel goal, the shot from a weird angle. He does the surprising stuff.
Mm.
But when you watch him dribble, I never feel like he's in complete control of that ball. It always looks like it's just a little bit ahead of him.
But the
Or
thing is,
like,
last season you wouldn't say this. We weren't saying this
I've
last
always said it.
season. Have you?
I've always said
Last,
it.
I think it's just. I'd say it's confidence because I was not seeing this type of this Mane last season. I was seeing him finishing chances, taking on players, shooting, scoring. But this
Yeah,
season is it's opposite.
he's having a worse season than Timo Werner, but it's not spoken about because it's
Yeah,
not Timo Werner. He's
yeah. I think
he's
that's
on
a fair
for
point.
me. If I'm gonna make my own list, mine is on fraud watch, and he won't get off fraud watch unless he scores a brace every match until the end of the season, just to drag his stats back up, because he's had a very very poor season. And I remember I got torn apart, I got rinsed because I said I'd rather have Marcus Rashford than Mane this season. I stick by
Yeah, of
what I said.
course.
I'd rather have Marcus Rashford.
Yeah.
And you can clip that. You can put that on TikTok. I would rather have Marcus Rashford over Sadio Mane this season. Mane is on fraud watch.
You forgot to argue with your mum.
Oh yeah, argue with your mum, guys. Argue with your mum.
And yeah, as you're saying, you'd mentioned Timo Werner.
Mm.
He's on the way out of fraud watch, but he's still
I don't think
potentially
he is.
inside because he did score for Chelsea in the 1-0 win over West Ham. However, open goals are not his friend.
Yeah.
Open, I don't get the goal isn't small, and he's standing right in front of the goal. The keeper's basically passed him the ball, and he
All right.
hits it wide. I just don't get it.
All
I
right.
don't
All
know
right.
what's going through his mind. I don't know how to explain it.
As I said earlier in the episode, I always like to try and defend players. I don't like to completely go in on players because I feel like it's unfair. We've played football. I've played football. You've played football. Yes, it was a difficult chance to miss, but I can see how we missed it.
No, you
The
can't.
no, let's hear me out. The alternate angle, and you'll when you watch a highlight, you'll see the alternate angle from behind the goal. The keeper was spread out. It wasn't an open goal. He had to get it over the keeper, or have a. He either had to chip the keeper, or he had about a foot between the keeper's foot and the post. And he tried to go for the inside of the post, and he just missed. He should have dinked the keeper, I think, but he just went for the wrong option. It didn't go right in his head. But if you were in that exact position, I think the keeper's saving it.
No, if I was there, I'm not missing. I'm telling you now. I'm
Yes,
not gonna miss that. There's no way I'm missing that shot.
you're hearing that too cool. Ibs isn't missing that.
There's no way.
Sign
Yes,
Ibs.
too cool. I can see down the camera, too cool. I'm not missing that chance. So if you want those chances taken, I'm the guy.
Hit him
But
up
as
on
for
ATF
yes,
on Instagram.
yes, AT football underscore. But yeah, as for Chelsea, obviously it's a great 3 points. Maybe not secure top four.
Nah, it's
Obviously
not secure yet.
It's not yet secured. Obviously West Ham are still. Is it 3 points behind Chelsea? Yeah, 3 points
Yeah.
behind Chelsea. So anything can happen.
Do you think third to fifth is going to go down to the last day like it has in the last couple of seasons?
I think it will. I think
Do you
it
think?
will.
Do you think Man United are going to be involved?
Oh no, I think we've secured.
We have a
We've
tough
secured
run.
top four. We've secured top four. I can't say we've secured second.
I think we've
We've
secured
secured.
second. We have a tough run. We've got Liverpool
Yeah,
as one of the games at
Anfield.
Anfield.
So it's going to be
It's
tough. But let's quickly talk about VAR because this is a talking point almost every single episode. Balbuena for West Ham got a
Nope.
red card for kicking a ball. So now with football, we can't kick a ball anymore because the follow through was deemed as reckless or whatever. I know he just got sent off.
Yeah. I'm gonna agree with David Moyes. People that have never played football before are making decisions.
We said this. We actually said this. Remember?
Yeah, you need a former footballer. I think it's physically impossible to kick a ball with that force and have your legs stop on the spot. I don't think it's possible. your leg is going to follow through, and on the come down, so like when your leg comes back down, if something's in the way, you're gonna touch it. It just so
It's physics,
happens,
basic
yeah,
physics.
it's science. You're a human. You're not a robot. You know, it just so happens that Chilwell's leg was there. It's not even a yellow card. It's an accident. It's not a
Mm.
malicious attempt. It's, oh, I kicked the ball. Someone was there. It's not even like, I could understand if he kicked the ball and then he might have carried on his movement and made contact with Chilwell. Then that's why is he doing that? Maybe that's malicious. But it's the fact his leg was coming down. You can't move out of the way.
Mm.
If anything, if anything, Ben Chilwell is the one that committed the foul. If I've seen fouls given for stuff like that to the one that just kicked the ball, it's ridiculous, and it's the slow motion that really, really kills the
Yeah,
referees.
you can't look at things in pixels
Yeah,
because it just doesn't tell the bigger picture.
yeah, and that's where I defend referees. If I was refereeing that situation, not that exact situation, but some of the VAR decisions that have been made, when you play it in 0.25 speed, everything looks deliberate because you see that little tiny movement the player made with his hand towards the ball, which in real time they wouldn't have even been able to. It might have been the wind that blew their hand that way. You know,
Mm.
it's the only defense I have for referees, but they should have common sense. And eventually, in Stockley Park, there has to be a former player or someone who's not never played football before, because most of the decisions that get made wrong are because they have no knowledge of the
Of the game,
actual game.
literally. I mean, VAR. Do you think VAR should stay in, or
Yes, I think
is
VAR,
your
the
VAR
video
in?
technology, should stay in. They just need to educate themselves, either update the rules or get in a former player. VAR isn't the problem, it's the referees. It's just the
Mm.
referees. Because in other leagues, VAR's there's never VAR problems.
Yeah, we don't
There's
hear
never problems.
of
Yeah,
controversy in like other
yeah,
leagues. Yeah, that's
because
true.
the actual machinery, it's like goal line technology. Goal line technology is fine.
Yeah,
VAR, the cameras and the replays, and that's fine. Just get people that understand basic football.
yeah, and yeah, 2 more games left. Sheffield, relegated Sheffield, beat Brighton 1-0.
Yeah,
To be fair, I didn't watch that game because yeah, the
I saw a bit of it.
McGoldrick. Obviously, I think it's just a consolation game. You know,
Yeah.
they're just playing just for the sake of playing. I don't think there's really much to talk about in that game, apart from maybe Brighton shouldn't be losing the game,
Mm.
to be fair. But obviously, Sheffield, maybe they know they're relegated, so there's nothing to lose. You
I
know,
think
just play for it. Just
I
play
think
for.
David McGoldrick might be the only player, and I think I said it already. The only person in that Sheffield United team that deserves a spot in another Premier League side.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, he's been. I think he's been a standout player the whole season.
Yeah.
He's a player whose name you actually know in that Sheffield squad.
Mm.
He's a player who's always performing, scoring goals in big games. I remember him scoring that against Arsenal a couple of times, and yeah, as you said, he probably should stay in the Prem next
What
season.
get him a Watford, a team like that that
Yeah,
team just come up. Norwich, Watford.
Watford. Yeah, Watford, Norwich have been promoted.
Yeah, he'd be a massive player. He'd be a clutch player, and a person someone that understands the Premier League, someone that's done it in the Premier League to a decent level. And it could really help them survive or push for somewhere around mid table.
And yeah, and just to end the episode, you might as well quickly talk about Man United's 0-0 draw away to Leeds at Ellen Road.
Get Dan James out. Get him out.
Dan James should have really just gone to Leeds because we don't need him at this club.
Mm.
He just, well, the whole team had a poor game because we obviously Leeds has sat back and defended. We couldn't really break them down. Obviously we can't break down Leeds anyway with someone like Dan James in the team. Obviously, Cavani, Pogba on the bench because we have Europa League midweek. So that's fair enough. But you mentioned off stream about all these substitutions.
76th minute, 86th minute, and 89th minute. Tells you the story.
He's not learning. He's he's learning tactically, but he's not learning how to make subs. Why is Danny Van der Beek playing 1 minute of a game?
It's disrespectful. It's I'd be like, is this guy all right? If I'm Donny van der Beek, a player who is better than half the players in his position, and you're getting 1 minute every couple of weeks or 20 minutes every couple of weeks, I'll be thinking, what is going on? What do I have to do to get in this team? But we've been here for about 6 months now. He's someone that I believe will play more next season because we're not going to get rid of him. That McFred in the midfield, they're going to play. They're going to play midweek as well.
When I saw the lineup, I was just like, where's Pogba? Where's Cavani? Why not at least start them at least so they get some minutes and then take them off? You can do that. Just take them off, and then
you kill the game and then bring the because the lesser players on.
It just wasn't good enough at all. And obviously now we have Roma. Is it Roma midweek? Yeah, Roma in Champions League. Obviously Pogba, Cavani will probably play in that game.
Yeah, we're gonna feel the strong team.
We'll play our strongest team.
De Gea's gonna start.
Goal. Yeah, De Gea in goal. So it will be our strongest team playing on Thursday. Fair enough. Obviously, Oli wants to win the trophy. That's probably why he wants to make sure that Pogba and Cavani aren't injured. So obviously he wants to win the trophy. Top 4 secured, so that could be a reason why he doesn't really need to play such a strong team in the Prem.
I don't care about top 4 getting secured. I don't want to finish 3rd or 4th. I'm being greedy. I think we're going to win the Europa League, but at the same time, I don't want the Premier League to tail off. I don't want City to win the league by 15 or 16 points. I want them to have to fight until 2 games left to win the league. You know, but when, as you said, you could play the Cavani and Pogba. You could have started them in the game. Oli needs to learn to make substitutions at half time or in the 50th minute. Judging from the reaction on Twitter, judging from the reaction on Twitter, Dan James had a stinker and he lasted until the 76th minute.
Let's see what they're saying about Dan James.
It's ridiculous. If you make the subs in the 50th minute or even at half time, you give the replacement players enough time to make an impact on the game. Not everyone can come on like Oli did in his time at United and score within 5 minutes, you know? For someone who throughout their career was a substitute, you'd think he knows how to make better substitutions, but he just doesn't.
No, I think he's doing this on purpose because maybe when he came off off the bench as a sub, he was playing like 5 minutes maybe. So maybe he's just trying to give them a taste of his own medicine. Someone on Twitter said of all the things Ryan Giggs has done, his biggest crime is recommending Dan James to Man United.
This has to be a regular segment at the end. Your Twitters.
Oh wait, we missed the one about Kane. I don't think I said the one about Kane. Someone said that what's his name? Yaya Sanogo has more trophies than Harry Kane and it's 2021.
I don't know why they had to do Sanogo like that. Why bringing him in? He was just a player minding his own business, trying to get on the way up.
And what else about Dan James? Do you think he just played because it's Leeds? You know, maybe sentiment that he could have played for Leeds.
It worked last time, to be fair. He got a goal. But today, whoosh, he was not about it.
Someone said Dan James can't decelerate. Everything's 100 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Affects his composure.
Yeah. Wait. That's what I've been saying. That's what I've been saying this whole episode. He needs to learn how to slow it down, not just physically, but mentally as well.
I just don't know what to say anymore about Dan James. He's just not good enough for the club. We asked for Jadon Sancho, we get Dan James. You asked for Jadon Sancho, you asked for Jack Grealish, we get Van der Beek. He's playing 3 minutes in a game. It just doesn't make any sense at all.
It's tough, but unfortunately, that's the life Manchester United fans live at the moment. Before the episode ends, by the way, I just want to say Glazer's out. We've gotten rid of Woodward. He's leaving at the end of the season. But along with Liverpool fans and Arsenal fans and fellow Manchester United fans, we need to find a way to get our owners out. I personally haven't been to any protests as I'm in London right now. But when I go back up to Liverpool, if there are any more protest outside Old Trafford, I'm definitely going to be there.
How about protests in Liverpool?
Yeah, I'm not going to a Liverpool protest.
Why?
Because one, I value my life, first of all. Holding my glazes outside and out of Anfield. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that, bro. I hope they have a good protest, and I wish them all the best. But I'm not there. I'm not there. It's not something I'm interested in.
Oh yeah. Just rock up to one of the Liverpool protests in your Man U top.
I got it on. Wait. Oh, I came prepared. I got my United shirt on now.
But yeah, I think it's been a good episode. Champions League week.
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday, Real Madrid, Chelsea. Wednesday, Man City, PSG. Thursday, Man U, Roma, and Villarreal, Arsenal. Hoping for all English finals in both Champions League and Europa League. I think on Thursday we're aiming to do a what is it called? A watch along for the United game.
Yep.
And yeah, it should be a good week. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Please do like, share, and subscribe.
Follow us on socials as well.
Yeah, follow us on all our socials. So TikTok at @ATFootball_ and Instagram at @ATFootball_ as well. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.